Éirevision,
Ireland's #1 Eurovision podcast.
Welcome to Ireland. Here's me the Paul today.
Just go to Crown Ireland.
You are an odious little man.
Oh,
Hey there everyone, welcome to the Éirevision Podcast. We are back. This is season 4 of the pod. Can you believe it? We've been going for 4 seasons. It is crazy to think that. But we are back in November. Long story. We're going to get to all that in the next few minutes and over the next hour as well. Plenty to talk about in our first opening episode of the season. But before we do that, Louise, how are things?
Hello, Connor. I am well. How are you?
I'm grand. It feels really, really strange to be kicking off a season this late, I guess.
We're like, take that, just on all these hiatuses. And
we come back, we go. It's like we need the money now for the tour. So new single coming out, you know, let's get
those subscriptions are running out on Adobe, etc. No, only joking.
Get the ball rolling.
Just the two of us today.
Alex is still here, don't worry.
She's at Catharsis, so you know she's not here for a Eurovision reason, which we'll allow it, Connor.
Yeah,
we'll allow it.
She's put in the annual leave, so we've approved it as her
the
line
personal
manager.
Day. It's been a while since we've had just the two of us. I feel like, gosh, possibly maybe back to our streams.
Back in May. Wow, God.
Yeah, the OG too. So yeah, I'm looking forward to a nice cozy chat together. We've been very busy, no doubt. Life has been lifing, work has been working. It's all been a go, and we really have been wanting to record this for a while because there's so many just updates we want to chat about with all of you dear listeners. And Connor, I've been really missing the listeners because we've gone quiet. They've gone quiet too. It's off season. We get it. But I'm really looking forward to seeing all your messages again, your DMs, emails, all of that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting stuck back in.
Indeed, and it's safe to say it hasn't been a quiet few months. Our last episode was released back in August. Again, later than usual, but given everything that's been going on, it's normal this year, I guess. But yeah, a lot has been going on since we said goodbye to season 3 and kicking off season 4 now in the middle of November. It's been busy, and you know, both good news and bad news out there. It'll be an interesting time ahead as we navigate this, but we know you guys, as Lou said, have been quiet yourselves, and you know, have been reaching out to us to see what the story is with us and everything like that. But hopefully for the moment we can guide you through this turbulent Eurovision season up until we get more clarity on things. But we'll touch on all that a bit later on. We've got plenty to talk about. We're obviously going to be talking about what's going on in the world with this vote and everything like that. But returning in new countries coming up. Eurovision's got a new logo. We have a host city and all that sort of stuff. But of course, this is Éirevision. Let's kick it off with Ireland and the news in Ireland. And what would usually be major news is kind of gone under the radar a bit, Lou. We have a new team. Michael Kealy is no longer the head of delegation. He's stepping away.
Lads, I can't believe it. I can't.
She's Devo.
I am quite Devo, to be honest. And, you know, that's that bears no feelings on any incoming delegation or anything like that. But I suppose it's, we just don't know any different. And, you know, Michael Kealy has been the head of delegation for a very long time. He has been, we'll sound a bit corny, but a very big part of Éirevision, of our journey. I always remember, you know, late 2022 sitting in this room with you, Connor, and coming over and being petrified to have our first full interview with Michael. Not that I was scared of him or anything, but because I knew that we were going to get to ask so many important big questions that we'd all been wondering, especially throughout COVID. And I remember just feeling a huge sense of responsibility on behalf of the fans. And that's still to date one of my favourite episodes. It's like we listened back to it in preparation for something else. And like I was laughing at, like, we were gunning for him. Like we were ready, but like he's always been so brilliant with us. Like, you know, we've had him on probably countless times now, at least once a year, sometimes 2 or 3 times we chat to him. He came to our live show last year, and you know, he's had some good results. He's had lots of bad results in his tenure. But he did switch it up. I would say particularly, like, I can't really speak for pre-COVID because I wasn't in the bubble, but definitely what I've seen in the last 5 years, he was open to listening to people, open to engaging with fans and outlets and that. So Michael Kealy, you will be missed.
He's still alive, Lou.
I know.
He will be missed.
Part of my heart has died.
It's an interesting thing to navigate, I guess, because obviously, like, since we've really been in the fan bubble, he is all that we've known and all we've kind of complained to or talked to over the last few years. So
sounds like a breakup.
Yeah,
please give us our privacy while we navigate.
What's that thing? It's like 5 stages of grief or something.
Oh,
or
yeah,
it's like
denial,
emotion,
anger,
all that sort of stuff. We're kind of going through that at the moment. But like you said, Michael has been such an integral part to this podcast, whether we liked it or not. But he was definitely
whether he liked it or
not. But like between the Zoom interview to then meeting in person, meeting with the press days, interview him at Eurovision, and then having him at our live show and stuff like that, it has been a very, very close relationship, and it's going to be different now, obviously, with the new team, who we'll talk about in a moment. But you know, the official line is that Michael Kealy has moved on from the head of delegation role to co-exec your favourite show, the Late Late Show. So if you miss him, you can catch him on Friday nights. On RT1, which is kind of funny. Yeah. But yeah, I guess the big question is who's replacing him, and that job goes to Alan Tyler, who is the RT Head of Entertainment and Music, and he will be the Head of Delegation for Ireland, while the RT Entertainment and Music Editor, Katherine Drohan, will become Deputy Head of Delegation, which obviously guest confirms also Claire Hughes will be leaving that role, which we didn't really see much of her over the course of the months. But Michael and Claire are gone. Alan and Katherine are coming in. Alan Tyler, for people who don't know, he is the head of entertainment, as I said. So he's the head of the department in RT. So bit of an interesting mix in there, I guess, that a head of a department will now be stepping into this quite intense role, and something that Michael had obviously said to us quite a long time, and often enough, that it's a busy role. So be interesting to see how Alan kind of takes on this role now himself alongside Katherine. But thoughts on Alan, Lou? How do you feel about it?
Well, I mean, like, first of all, change can be really good, you know? So I'm always open to, and like, that's life, isn't it? Like, even if you stay within an organization, you might move to a different department or a different area. So, and like Michael had always said that to us previously, you know, that he enjoyed doing the job, but like, if one day his time came to change course in RT or whatever, he would do so. So yeah, change is good. Yeah, so of course, Alan Tyler, he's the head of entertainment, as anyone could imagine, I'm sure, an extremely busy role in an organisation like RTE. And I think there's going to be some really interesting points to watch here. He's a very busy person, I imagine, with lots going on within his role. So it's great as well that he has Katherine as an assistant head, because I think from speaking to Michael, you know, head of delegation is a busy role anyway. So it's good that he has a bit of a team already, it seems like, to hopefully help him to juggle all the different meetings and bits and bobs that go on. Like really realistically, head of delegation, it's not really a lone rager role anymore. I think most of us can agree. It's also a big plus that I imagine, as somebody within that role in such a big organisation, I imagine he has good contacts. I imagine within the organisation and outside of that. And also maybe he'll have good pull in terms of bringing things along for the contest, in terms of how we select our acts, what calibre of acts we get, even so far as the budget. Like, we know in terms of finances, things have been tricky recently, but I'm really open-minded just to see sort of what happens. And then it's like a Russian doll within, like, there's so many things going on around this, because as we're going to talk about later, like, Ireland's participation is also dangling in the air. So it's like, oh, okay, like, potential new delegation, but let's see how December goes. So it all feels a little bit up in the air at the minute. I'm really hopeful that, you know, we'll know where things are in January and we can hit the ground running and 100%. See how the new delegation do.
Definitely. And just to give a bit of background on Alan Tyler, if anyone doesn't know, this is from RT.ie when he was first appointed as the head of entertainment within RT. Alan has built an extensive CV in development, production, commissioning and management, in a variety of leadership roles in both the independent sector and at the BBC. He was executive editor, later acting controller of entertainment commissioning at the BBC, with a huge range of award-winning shows across the channels. These include Strictly Come Dancing, Michael McIntyre's Big Show, All Round to Mrs. Brown, Live at the Apollo, Comic Relief, and the Mobo Awards, amongst many others. So extensive CV on his hands there, Lou. He also has some links to Eurovision in the past, though, with the Eurovision dance contest that was on back in the late 2000s, I believe. So he was a producer on that program as well. So that's his link to Eurovision, loosely, but experienced nonetheless. Katherine Drohan, on the other hand, people will remember her, the toy show, the musical. Do you remember that famous?
Yes.
Back in, I think it was COVID times, 2022.
So Irish, isn't it?
So Irish. She was one of the creative members of that team. So she led the production with Jane Murphy. As you touched on, our participation is even up in the air, but we'll get to that later on in the episode. Moving on, though, to something that, again, would be probably big news in a normal year. And we have our host city, Lou. Where is Eurovision 2026 potentially happening?
We're heading off to Vienna, a beautiful city with a great history of music, of dance, of opera, the capital of Austria. It's going to be a very classy affair. 70th edition of the Eurovision Song Contest. It feels rather fitting that it's in a country that was in the contest so early on, and also it's kind of well placed, relatively central geographically in Europe, multiple languages, all of that. So yeah, Vienna I've been to once. I did it it was a whistle stop trip during interrailing. I thought it was fairly quiet, really beautiful buildings. I think Eurovision's going to breathe lovely life into it. Very walkable city, and transport is pretty good. Hotels, as always, that's always going to be a bit of a nightmare for people. So we'll all be shacking up in the Airbnbs, etc. for those of us who end up going.
Cheap city, expensive city, in the middle?
It wouldn't be Switzerland levels or like Sweden to my knowledge, but it's also like not cheap.
Yeah.
But yeah, you'll probably hopefully have a few more euro in your pocket coming home than you would have from Switzerland.
Interesting.
Any thoughts yourself, Connor?
No, none really. I was kind of sad for Innsbruck, just to have a different city to potentially go to. But look, I think Vienna was really the only city in contention. Can
I say something real, like,
oh yeah, go,
cringy and millennial? Innsbruck was just like a bit of an Insta love. Like, it just would have looked great on Insta.
No, I think that's why I would have liked it. But the view, oh my God, the big mountain in the back. I was
aesthetics.
like, that looks gorgeous. Imagine spending a week there. Like,
gorgeous.
Now we're going to Vienna, or potentially Vienna. But we also have the dates for Eurovision next year, which is the semi-final 1 taking place on the 12th of May, semi 2 on the 14th of May, and the grand final on the 16th of May. The middle of May, as usual. We've kind of stuck with that the last few years. No, late May, early May, which is interesting as well. Wiener Stadthalle, we're heading back there, same venue as 2015. Let's hope Conchita isn't still stuck in the ceiling.
Tonight, we're building bridges.
They're using
every
that
time
theme.
It's brought up, I have to sing
Oh
it.
my God. Once those hosts aren't anywhere to be seen, I will be fine. They were as stale.
Yeah, I feel like I don't think we'll have the all-female quartet again. I feel like it may be a mix this time, but who knows?
Yep, we'll have to wait and see. Also, what has been big news in
this is a big deal in the land of Connor.
Controversy now.
Yeah.
Eurovision has got a new logo, Lou.
This is your bread and butter, this stuff. Like,
it's weird. I've gotten used to it now because it is so long ago, but
it looks very loopy.
It's loopy. It's very flowy. It's like many sexualities in the Eurovision fandom, just very fluid and very flowy. Like, nothing's very straight or anything like that. It is a new logo and controversy. United by Music sticks as the slogan. Got 'em. Is that the old the logo font? That's gone, and we have a new font specially designed for Eurovision. Before I give you details on it, Lou, what do you think of it? Do you care? Do you like it? Some people don't care.
I care less about these things than the likes of you tech experts do and you font enthusiasts out there. It's fine. I did probably prefer the old one, but it's so hard to know if you have inherent biases and nostalgia with these things. maybe if they were both presented to me and I had amnesia over the old one, I would maybe pick this one. That it's maybe a bit more playful. Some people were saying it would have suited Junior Eurovision better for that reason.
Yeah.
I'm not too mad about the logo. When it comes to the slogan, like, let's read the room, are we united by music? And also, I just loved the element that we had every year of the slogan changing and being special and unique to the host city. As an example, I loved All Aboard in Lisbon in Portugal, and then the visuals they had with that were really lovely. I've obviously mentioned they're building bridges from 2015, the last time Austria hosted. So I'm kind of, that partially feels a little bit lazy. But then, of course, we know the EBU are trying to peddle this United by Music mantra as well. So it suits that whole vibe that's going on at the moment. But I just love, I think I tweeted this on the day, like, I just love logging in and seeing Eurovision fans being really angry in August over font and logos. Like, we're just a brilliant, interesting group of people. What were your thoughts, Connor?
I hated it when I first saw it. I was one of those people on Twitter giving out. I just thought it was so childish. Even just the structure of it really bothers me. It's like some are capital E's, some are capital or lowercase R's and O, and then it's like song contests been brought up to match Eurovision because they're giving out that, like, it's not just called Eurovision, it's the Eurovision Song Contest, blah 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 blah. And it also aligns broadly with like the EBU, because Eurovision isn't just Eurovision to the EBU, it's also like Eurovision represents their sports and everything like that, their music. So it's like not just the song contest. So I can understand the reasoning for bringing song contests more prominently into the brand. But Jesus, lads, could you not have done a better job? Like, it's like something on Canva or something. I don't know. I just don't get it at all. But the EBU released a statement to explain it more to us. So it is a simplified into a single unique mark with one familiar element at its centre, which is the Eurovision heart, which is now beating louder than ever before, Lou. Paired with the fresh logo, we also have the chameleon heart, which I am a fan of. I do like that heart, the beating heart. And it also has 70 layers to represent 70 years of the Eurovision Song Contest.
That's nice.
Which is a nice touch, yeah, I guess so. But look, I've learned to not love it, learn to get on with it, I guess. Is that the right way? Learn to just tolerate it.
Yeah,
personally.
fair.
I think they could have done a better job. But the public reaction, a lot of people hate it.
Yeah.
I just think it's very...
It is what it is.
Yeah, look, we're not changing it. And I think as well, I think the EBU should focus on bigger things than the logo, frankly. But anyway.
As I said earlier, change can be good, but I wouldn't be against a rebrand in a couple of years' time. And again, bring back the individual slogans.
Individuality.
Yes.
Authenticity.
That's what Eurovision is about, guys.
Oh, God. Still plenty to come on this episode of Éirevision. We've got... we're obviously going to be talking about the big kind of elephant in the room. That is what's going to be happening over the next few weeks and so. And of course, countries returning to Eurovision and potentially a new country making its debut. All to come.
Now, I'm very excited to chat to you about this, Connor, because this is one of those like classic topics that Euro fans love to discuss. Even if we pop up a little question box from time to time, what countries would you like to see come back to the contest? And sometimes we're asked, what countries would you like to see debut the contest? And this is even just such a fun one to discuss with your Euro friends over pints and things like that. So returning countries, we have many, many countries who have departed the dear Eurovision Song Contest over the last couple of decades. And we have 3 confirmed to be returning. It was like boom, 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 one day after the other. I nearly got whiplash. Connor, can you tell us one of them?
The first country to announce that they were coming back was Romania. Now, Romania returned to the song contest after a 2-year absence, and frankly, a country that I never thought we'd see again in the short term, after how they left really with their tragic song in 2023, horrific song. But it's going to be returning to the contest in 2026 on the 30th of October. TVR board approved participation in the contest. They failed to qualify for the final in 2023 and scored 0 points in that semi-final. The broadcaster then skipped in 2024 and 2025, citing financial and organisational constraints. It said the President Director General, Dan Christian Turtica, excuse my pronunciation, says that the 2-year break helped broadcaster understand what needed to change. He said, we proposed Romania's return to the Eurovision Song Contest because during the 2 years of absence, we had the time to better understand what did not work in the relationship between TVR, the music industry and creators. He says that it is a joint effort involving many different partners. Its aim is to also strengthen the national music identity across mainstream media and across Europe as well. No details on the selection method, whether that's a national selection process or an internal selection process, but Romania are back nonetheless. Lou, Romania, they're back. Did you think you'd see the day?
I agree with you. I didn't think we would see them anytime soon, but I am happy to have them back. I mean, we'll talk about Moldova in a minute or two, but I kind of think of them as like twins of chaos in the contest. And like Romania has brought us just some classic Eurovision entries like Yodel It, and we had Yamame, and just some really fun entries and some really like good quality entries too, particularly for a country that we know they have struggled financially and they have often struggled to even be there. So yeah, it's good to see them returning, and I hope that it's a positive experience for them, because, you know, I really hope it's not a year where like people are being enticed back or like kind of shoved in as placeholders and then, you know, it falls apart and they like withdraw again next year. You know, let's bring some longevity to their participation.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
Another country we haven't seen for a couple of years coming back, Connor, is Bulgaria.
Mm-hmm.
And I would think it's fair to say Bulgaria were not quite there, but on their way to being a little bit of a powerhouse, because we had that great result with Poli Genova in 2016. They were the runners up in 2017. I mean, very difficult for anybody to have beaten Salvador Sobral that year. But that was a really excellent entry. You know, we had Equinox, Victoria. They kind of went out with a whimper. We won't talk about Intelligent Music Project in 2022. But Bulgaria just were always pushing the boat out, again, like Romania, not with a lot of resources at their disposal. So, and, you know, with all three of these countries, great to have more of an Eastern flair in the contest as well. What are your thoughts, Connor?
Yeah, but like Bulgaria, like you said, we're a powerhouse and we're one of those countries that was on course to potentially win in the next few years, and then they kind of just fell off the bandwagon and kind of never came back until now. But I loved Bulgaria within the contest and loved what they were doing, and it was a real shame to see them go in, you know, after 2022, and like financial, you know, restrictions within the broadcaster and stuff. It's always been a big push, similar to, you know, Czechia and stuff like that, those sort of countries. It's always been a big push to get them into Eurovision. Yeah. So it was no surprise that they have taken a few years back. It's just very convenient timing when, you know, the EBU needs a few countries to come back, that they are back. Numbers. And I'm sure we'll talk about that in a few minutes as well. But look, it's always good to see countries come back. I wish I could celebrate it a bit more, but, you know, it's good to have them back. Fingers crossed, you know, this is going to be a standard Eurovision Song Contest with everyone back as well. But look, Bulgaria, always good to see. Really interested to see what they do. There's talk of a potential national final in a big arena, which again begs the question of how are they financially funding this all of a sudden? You know, it's so strange. But again, look, it's great to see, and be interesting to see a new national final on the horizon from Bulgaria. But look, great to see them back.
Absolutely. Rounding off our trio, there is a country I honestly love so dearly, Moldova. And I said before, I think they could be my favourite Eurovision country. Like, I have a list of their participations in front of me, Connor. 2016, Falling Stars. 2017, Hey Mama. 2018, My Lucky Day. 2019, Anna Obadescu, Stay, lol. 2020, Natalia Gordienko, Prison. 2021, Natalia Gordienko, Sugar. 2022, Treniltal.
Oh.
We don't even need to go there. 2023, Pasha, what was it? Saril Siluna. Saluna. And then in the middle, I don't remember that one. Natalia.
Right in the middle.
Oh, that actually was really good.
Yeah, but she just stood there on the stage and
I'm
did
pretty
nothing.
sure we ripped that apart in
No,
the
we
podcast.
did, but and then we actually ended up really liking it.
It was kind of camp. Like,
she just stood there and didn't give a fuck. Like, she's just there. Like, I have no graphics, I have nothing, but I'm just going to stand there and clap my hands. And then she got really pissed off she didn't qualify. It's like, girl, you did nothing. You did nothing.
What a diva.
Oh, God.
No, listen, and like Moldova, look, Moldova, and I'm putting it out there, when I say they're one of my favourite Eurovision countries, I don't necessarily agree with everything. Like, there's some tenuous links going on. There's some questionable connections that have maybe happened over the years. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just go and look it up. I am so happy to see them back. I think they just bring a good bit of joy and weirdness to the contest. Like, you're sitting in a room with locals and Moldova comes on and like you have to explain something or you have to give background, and they go all in on staging. They make such good use of what they have in terms of budget and resources. Love it. Love it, love it, love it, Connor. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm excited to see them back. They weren't gone for too long. They just missed out in 2025 after participating in Malmo in the middle. But they're revitalising their national final. Those iconic auditions that went viral on Twitter, they're gone, or they won't be televised at least, which is devastating. But they're bringing in two experienced producers, Sergei Orlov and Roman Burlaka, who are appointed to coordinate the national final as well. A national jury will consist of 20 members, 5 international and 15 national jurors to ensure transparency and international competitiveness. And those entries have opened since the 7th of November and run for 30 days. So interesting times in Moldova. Martin Green, the Director General of the Eurovision Song Contest, said it's fantastic to welcome back BNT, TVR and TRM to the Eurovision Song Contest. Their returns are a reminder of the enduring power of the contest, the strength of our community, and demonstrate what it truly means to be united by music.
It's a lovely PR package there.
Jesus Christ.
Well thought out. It's so hard though, because like a lot of the time these things don't always happen overnight. Like, we don't know. Like, could this have been in the works from like years ago, last year? We don't actually know that. But like, as you said, Connor, it's very convenient timing.
Convenient, yeah. Particularly for 3 countries that often cite financial.
Have they lowered the participation fees? I mean, that's a fair question to
It's a fair question,
ponder.
yeah.
Possibly.
Particularly for the 70th edition, we know the EBU have cash, so like maybe they were like, let's take the hit for...
Have they found money somewhere?
Found
Was
money
there money
somewhere.
resting in someone's account?
Potentially, but you know, they're trying to entice anyone to join the contest now, because Canada are apparently in talks to participate in the Eurovision Song Contest. Maybe not in 2026, but certainly the conversations have started. And we know Eurovision Canada was a thing a few years ago alongside Eurovision Asia and, you know, all these pop-up brands of Eurovision that get announced and never happens. Yeah, Canada is early discussion phase about joining Eurovision, according to the EBU and the Canadian government documents.
Canada, eh?
Canada, like, again, associate member, so can join technically through invitation like Australia did. The links to Eurovision is like Celine Dion. I can't think of anyone else maybe off the top of my head.
I mean,
potentially.
There quite possibly are
But
others.
I think there was a French representative who was from Montreal potentially back in the early 2000s maybe. But again, like, Australia have been showing the contest for decades, and you know, we know how enthusiastic Eurovision fans are in Australia down under. Canadian fans, we know one, ESC 101, that podcast, shout out to
and one of
him.
our friends from Building Bridges, I
Building
believe, is Canadian.
Bridges is Canadian as
I
well,
believe
yeah.
So, yeah.
So there definitely is a fan base. I don't know how you would feel about it, Canada joining Eurovision. I don't really know how to feel. Like, it's great, but then does it open up the question of, like, does it become less Eurovision, Europe? Well, I know Australia's there in it, but that's the exception to the rule. But you know what I mean? It's just a bit of like...
Yeah, we're going to have so many more locals on our back. Australia part 2. Where Canada in it? I mean, this, not to get too political now, with the arena we're in, there, we know there always is a little bit of it. But for the geopolitics nerds amongst us, I mean, it's really interesting in terms of what's going on with that really large, powerful country over beside Canada. Their neighbours, there's been a lot of talk over the last, say, year or so that Canada would like to remain close to Europe, to the European Union. Could this maybe be a symbolic move of, Canada wanting to remain closely allied with its European pals across the Atlantic and an Australian friend way down across the Pacific? Kind of an interesting one. Obviously, we've got French and English language being official languages there. They could bring a really unique sound. Canadian people are incredibly polite, so there'll be no giving out if they don't qualify or anything like that. But
you could have Justin Bieber, Carly Rae Jepsen,
Shania Twain. Canada has got some great talent, and you've got the Celine link, of course, as you mentioned already. So, I mean, it's interesting, but then what's the word? The cynical part of me is wondering, is this all a grand gesture? Is this all a big distraction from, our last talking point of today's episode?
Yep. And it's a shame because this is stuff that we should be really excited for, really diving into. But again, it's just the cynical bit you got to think of at the moment as a Eurovision fan. But one to wait. It's still in very early talks, according to Martin Green. No discussion or decision has been made, or no decision has been made yet, and discussions remain in the exploratory stage. But it's exciting to know the broadcasters want to join the largest music competition in the world.
Love our podcast? Leave us a 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts. Plus, support us on buymeacoffee.com/Éirevision.
And I guess, the elephant in the room has been everything else that has been going on in the world. We are not a political podcast, so we're not going to focus on that side of things. But of course, it's crept into Eurovision over the last few years, and it involves Israel. And a lot has gone on in the last few months and last few weeks, particularly with Ireland and everything like that. So I guess we're just going to kind of go a rundown of what's happened and where the stage is at, because we know a lot of you maybe don't follow us on Instagram or on our socials, but do follow the podcast on Spotify or Go Loud or wherever you listen to your podcast. So you may not know or may want to, get a rundown of what's happening, as we are your news source for Eurovision bits and pieces. But a lot has gone on in the last few months since we filmed our last episode in August, and it really kicked off on the 3rd of September when RTV, which is the Slovenian broadcaster, first kind of put it out there that they may not participate in Eurovision if Israel were to participate. Iceland followed shortly after on the 9th of September, and it really kind of kicked off, I think, with our own broadcaster, RT, putting out what was quite a strong statement, point blank saying that Ireland would not participate. The full statement is, at the General Assembly of the Eurovision Broadcasting Community, I'll say that again because I fucked that up. At the General Assembly of the European Broadcasting Union in July, a number of EBU members raised concerns about the participation of Israel in the Eurovision Song Contest. RT wishes to thank the EBU for the extensive consultation process that was initiated on foot of that meeting, and the extension of the option to withdraw from participation without penalty to December. It is RT's position that Ireland will not participate in the 2026 Eurovision Song Contest if the participation of Israel goes ahead, and the final decision regarding Ireland's participation will be made once the EBU's decision is made. RT feels that Ireland's participation would be unconscionable given the ongoing and appalling loss of lives in Gaza. RT is also deeply concerned by the targeted killing of journalists in Gaza and the denial of access to international journalists to the territory, and the plight of the remaining hostages. And that statement is from Thursday, the 11th of September. So we, of course, know that a lot has happened since then. Avrotros, which is the Dutch broadcaster, followed suit the following day on the 12th of September with a similar enough statement saying that they would not participate in Eurovision 2026. Also, RTV in Spain, their board of directors had a vote on the 16th of September, which was also approved. So the EBU then announced that an extraordinary vote would take place in November, the first week of November, to discuss the developments because of this extraordinary political situation going on in the world. And that was planned for the early first week of November. So that should have taken place by now. And because of the political developments outside of Eurovision, that vote was then swiftly cancelled, and a Statement of the EBU said, due to recent developments in the Middle East, the EBU's executive board agrees that there is a clear need for an open and in-person discussion among members concerning the issue of participation in the Eurovision Song Contest 2026. Therefore, the matter has been added to the agenda of the regular Winter General Assembly scheduled for December instead of an extraordinary session beforehand. So that vote was cancelled, and the General Assembly will take place in the first week of December, and we're kind of left in limbo since then, Lou. Nothing really has come about since. No country has really added to the list, and no country has taken themselves off the list to say that they would participate. So I guess we're kind of sitting suit and waiting to see what kind of develops between now and December. And I guess focusing on Ireland for a moment, you know, for RT to come out with that statement, being one of the first, or the first country really to say that they wouldn't participate. Something that I think it's fair to say that we're very proud of and happy to see.
Yeah, it's important to, especially with the climate of the world at the moment, it's really important to take a stand one way or the other. It's important to use your voice, especially when you have one. There's a lot of people in the world who sadly, you know, can't advocate for themselves or who don't have voices. And when you turn on the news and when you read newspapers and see what journalists are reporting and even things that are on social media, you know, a song contest and the organisation around that, the importance of that pales in comparison to what is happening to people's lives in the Middle East. And it's really, really dreadfully sad. So I think it's very important that this is addressed in some way or other. I'm very glad that, you know, broadcasters have spoken out and made their opinions known, because, you know, something has to be decided one way or the other. It's been a very tense couple of years at the Eurovision Song Contest. Sometimes it feels like silly even discussing this in the scope of Eurovision, because as I said, like, this is so much bigger than Eurovision, but obviously that's what we're here to talk about, of course. And it just, in general as well, along with Ireland taking a stand, I'm really disappointed with how the EBU has been kicking the can down the road. Because listen, like, regardless of what your opinion is over whether Israel should participate or not, it's not good for anybody that this decision is being, you know, kicked down the road. Mm-hmm. Like, we need to know one way or the other what is happening. Like, if these broadcasters, Slovenia, Iceland, Ireland, Spain, and who am I forgetting? If they're not going, the Netherlands. If they are likely not to be participating because of Israel still being in the competition, well, then those broadcasters need to know that. If Israel's not participating, their broadcaster needs to know that. It just, I don't think the situation is helping the contest at all. It's not helping the morale. I imagine it's quite irritating for people just trying to do their jobs within broadcasters. And it all I'd love to be a fly on the wall for what's going on in the EBU. One thing we actually haven't mentioned fully is Martin Osterdahl going. I know we touched on it before, but it's very interesting. Martin Green sort of ad hoc stepping into that role. Mm-hmm. Not you know, the roles have merged somewhat of what Martin Osterdahl were doing.
The role was separated to help Martin Osterdahl, and now the roles have suddenly gone back together.
Yeah,
for Martin Green. So it's like, even those the optics there aren't even great either. You know, it's a very confusing time.
It's communication and transparency. Like, when it comes to this issue with Eurovision, that's like a huge issue, and I get the sense that that's been really troubling broadcasters. You know. Mm-hmm.
It's going to be an interesting time to wait and see. Obviously, we won't know anything until that General Assembly in the first week of December, and that will really kind of pave the path for 2026. Like, we're discussing everything today, and this kind of grey cloud is above it, because, you know, what happens? Are we in? Are we out? You know, it's such a shame, because this should be such an exciting time. And like you said, you know, Eurovision is such a small part of this conversation. Obviously, the overshadowing thing is what is actually important in the world. And, you know, everything you said about standing up and using your voice is so important. And, you know, within the Eurovision context, that's equally the same. And I think even with, you know, a ceasefire happening and everything like that, like, there's clear evidence that the broadcaster has brought the contest into disrepute. We've talked about this so many times, and Avertos, the Dutch broadcaster, said this point blank in their statement. Like, that is enough to get them out of the contest. So I don't know why we're still tiptoeing around with this, like, you know, it's okay for them to break rules, and the language of the contest that's changed from countries to broadcasters. And like, you know, there's a great video by Stuart McLean on YouTube. Brilliant.
Yeah.
It's like 40 minutes long. I really like everyone should go watch that if you haven't already. It is so good, and the language changing, and even Martin Green using broadcasters and suddenly changing, using countries and changing to broadcasters within a few months. It's just such strange.
And what are they going to do next? Say like, oh, no flags anymore?
No flags, and
you know, like that's a huge part of the competition.
Yeah. And like, I think you can change a logo, you can change a slogan, but like at the essence of it, you're damaging the contest. You're damaging the contest whether you like it or not. And like, so many people that we know have just become so disenfranchised with Eurovision because of all of this. And it's like, even ourselves to a degree. Like, honestly, like Eurovision was such a big hobby for us and such a love for us, and it's taken a back seat because
I ain't feeling very united by music.
No,
you know,
not at all.
I haven't been really properly since Liverpool, and I like love the history of the contest, and I love the national finals. But when it comes to Eurovision week, it's become really stressful.
Yeah, and that's not what we got into it for. Like, it was our escape from the world, and it's become this kind of toxic thing, which it's like a toxic relationship. You know, maybe you should get out of, but you really care about it, and you've invested in it, and you want it to get better. Exactly. You know, you want it. You know the goods. You want to be the savior. You know the good that's in it, but like it's not there. And even like with friends, like you used to always be talking about Eurovision and be like, oh, will you ever shut up about Eurovision? Now you don't want them to ask about Eurovision, but they're asking you about Eurovision for the wrong reasons.
Ask and I scoff. I'm like, don't worry about it. Like,
it's so bad. And it's like, how do you feel? And it's like, no, I actually really support what broadcasters are doing, but like it's such a completely different thing. A lot of questions probably are on our own stance and how we feel. And we put out a statement after RT put out their own statement. And I'll just read it out for you guys if you did miss it. As a podcast dedicated to following Ireland's Eurovision journey and providing an Irish perspective on the contest, Éirevision stand firmly by RT's decision regarding the 2026 Eurovision Song Contest. We fully support RT's position that Ireland would not participate should Israel be permitted to compete. The ongoing and devastating humanitarian crisis in Gaza, the appalling loss of civilian lives, and the targeted killing of journalists are matters that cannot and should not be separated from cultural events such as Eurovision. We share RT's belief that it would be unconscionable for Ireland to participate under these circumstances. Israel's continued participation brings the contest into disrepute and undermines the values of peace, inclusivity, and unity on which Eurovision was founded. Ireland has always tried to be on the right side of history, and we believe RT's stance reflects that tradition. It would be unconscionable for Ireland to participate under the present circumstances. We also urge the European Broadcasting Union to make a swift and principled decision on this matter in order to protect the values that Eurovision is meant to uphold and provide clarity for all participating broadcasters. Our podcast has always existed to following Ireland's Eurovision journey. If Ireland is not to compete, then Éirevision will respectfully cease production in line with that decision. We are grateful to our listeners for their continued support and understanding, and we remain hopeful that the Eurovision Song Contest can once again become a space where values of peace, inclusivity, and unity are truly upheld. So basically, like, for the moment, we're going to limp on and continue on until we get a decision, but I guess we'll reevaluate once we have a decision. You know, if Ireland aren't in the Eurovision Song Contest, we won't be continuing with Éirevision because there's not much point. And I guess if we're in a contest of, you know, Ireland being in it, we're going to reevaluate that as well, because, like, you know, like we said, we've become a bit disenfranchised with the Eurovision ourselves, and it's a hard thing to do, and we don't want to come on these mics and, I guess, be fake to you guys either. I think you guys know how we feel amongst things, and I think it's best to be transparent and open with how we're feeling at the moment. But for the moment, we're going to continue on, and we've got an exciting episode coming out in a week's time or so. We teased it earlier on. Mr. Michael Kealy for one last time. And funny enough, this was filmed way back in August, so we've been sitting on this for ages, and then the shitstorm happened with all the news coming out. So this was meant to be released way back in line with the announcement that Michael was going. So we've been sitting on this for a while, but it's finally coming out, and it's a great interview, very reflective of his tenure as head of delegation, and a really nice kind of goodbye between Éirevision and Michael Kealy as well. So that's something to look forward to next week. So stay tuned for that. But Lou, for the moment, it's a strange time.
We're in purgatory. We're in limbo. But, you know, life is busy. We march on, and, you know, I feel like if we're not participating in Eurovision, there's like small elements of things I will still enjoy. I'll still follow Sanremo, Melfest to a point, you know, and just watch back contests that I enjoyed. I think it's probably important to say to people, because I know we all have such mixed feelings. I personally think it's so okay to change your mind on things. Like, it's so okay to say, you know what, I don't agree with the principles of this particular thing anymore, even though I used to love it, or like maybe like I'm taking a break from it right now and I might come back to it later when things are different. And I think it's okay to go back and enjoy maybe better times, or you just times when things were more joyful and not as controversial and not as difficult to swallow. So that's kind of the tack I'm taking until, you know, December rolls around and everything is a little bit clearer. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to kind of digesting that with yourself and Alex and all of our friends, and with the listeners as well. And I'd really love to know listeners' thoughts on all of these topics we've touched on in today's episode. So do reach out to us and let us know. I've missed the more regular interactions of the Eurovision season.
No, nothing really further from what you said there. I'm looking forward to hearing what other people are thinking. And again, as we've always said, Éirevision is an open space. You know, us three talk shite on the mic, but like it's also as much of a platform for you guys to share your opinions and thoughts as well. So do let us know honestly how you guys are feeling. It is a difficult time to navigate, but we will be here for each other as Eurovision fans and friends and accorda, a bit of Irish. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting time, but stay tuned. We're here for you equally as you are here for us, I guess, to help us get through this. But yeah, again, like guys, we're all over our socials as usual. Just search Éirevision. You can check out our brand new website, éirevision.ie as well, for some articles, and we'll have some new news coming up about that as well. So stay tuned for that.
Don't forget our TikTok and our Buy Me a Coffee.
Email.
Yes.
Everything. We're everywhere. We're everywhere.
We're everywhere on the internet.
Just search Éirevision, you'll see us. But yeah, for the moment, I guess, Lou, that's all from us.
All we have to say is Slán go fóill.